Vowing to resist, former FBI Director James Comey responding to a subpoena from the House Judiciary Committee, tweeting, quote, "Happy Thanksgiving. Got a subpoena from House Republicans. I'm still happy to sit in the light and answer all questions, but I will resist a closed-door thing because I've seen enough of their selective leaking and distortion. Let's have a hearing and invite everyone to see." Pardon me, God, he didn't cough. That was me. Bob Goodlatte is the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, and he joins us now. Pardon me, why do this behind closed doors?
Well, Melissa, this is part of an ongoing investigation that's nearing its completion. We've talked to more than a dozen witnesses, all with transcribed interviews in private settings. That's how investigations are conducted. The director, I'm sure in all of his years as director of the FBI and as an investigator and an attorney, never, ever conducted an interview and an investigation in public. We have hundreds of questions to ask. The rules of the committee, when you have a public hearing, allow each member to ask 5 minutes worth of questions, and that doesn't permit the kind of in-depth interview by former prosecutors like Trey Gowdy and John Ratcliffe and other investigative staff on the committee to ask the hundreds of questions we have for Mr. Comey. So he's been dodging us for months now, refusing to come in and cooperate, like everyone else we've asked to come in has cooperated, and now he has this dodge of let's do a public hearing. Well, we're not looking for a circus. We're looking for answers, and that's what we intend to get, and that's why it was necessary for us to issue a subpoena, which, by the way, was served on his lawyer, who accepted it by email. There was no disruption of anybody's Thanksgiving.
So what is your first question for him? What is it that you want to know specifically?
Well, he was the lead at the FBI and the lead in an investigative process regarding both the Hillary Clinton email matter and the so-called Trump-Russia collusion matter. And we have hundreds of questions to ask for him about why he conducted himself the way he did. There's an Inspector General's report out that is more than 400 pages long that criticizes him up and down for how he handled the Clinton matter. The other matter is also being investigated by the Inspector General. But we are comparing these two actions by a small group of people at the FBI, led by the director, but also the deputy director, the general counsel, and others at the FBI, and the disparate way they handled these two very important investigations is, quite frankly, stunning. We're trying to get to the bottom of it. He is one of the last witnesses we need to talk to.
When you say you want to get to the bottom of it, what is the end goal? Because we see a lot of these hearings, and it seems like nothing happens as a result.
The end goal is very simple, and we're making a lot of progress toward that. The end goal is to make sure that the FBI never, ever interferes in a federal election the way they interfered in this one. And both Democrats, Republicans, and I guess independents, too, should be concerned about how this matter was conducted by Mr. Comey. After all, I would be concerned, if I were a Democrat, to the fact that he reopened the investigation and publicly announced that, which is not FBI protocol, a week before the election in 2016.
All right, Chairman, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. I apologize for coughing all over you. At least you're a long distance away, so I can't make you sick.
I hope you're feeling better.
You.
Thanks, Melissa.
Thanks.